All right. Welcome, everyone. And if I could ask the folks in the room to stay on mute, please, that'd be great. Anyone who's actually off of mute right now, if you don't mind staying on mute, that'd be perfect. And yeah, so it's our Thursday at 1 p.m. I'm Douglas J. Beck, your host, and here to talk with you today about how you can turn in 5 days, turn $5,000 or more into reality for you and your business through real estate investing. So if you want to learn about that, definitely stay tuned. We're going to talk more about that today. I'm going to give you examples of literally how we've done that hundreds of times, not necessarily in 5 days every time, but a lot of times in, a week or two from the time that we actually initiate the process. So again, today's going to be jam-packed with information. We're going to have an opportunity for you also to join us for Q&A inside of our Zoom, which is not the common thing. Usually we do this just in Facebook Live. We're going to get you guys the opportunity to pop into Zoom and meet some of our private coaching clients, folks in the room that are actually looking to make deals happen in their market, in your market too, and looking for collaboration partners, looking for people that want to work together and make business happen together. So we're going to give you guys the opportunity to kind of network in the chat in a bigger way. So that's another little added bonus for you today. So you definitely want to hang out and stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, in the meantime, if I can get a quick roll call, who's here, if you don't mind using the Facebook comment feature on this video, below this video, inside of the Ream group, we are inside of Ream, aren't we? Just want to make sure. I think we are. Just want to make sure. Press the right button, right? You guys are with me, I hope. I'm going to go ahead and look at the comments, see if this pops
live
open.
there.
We're live. Perfect. Okay. Because Facebook gets a little funny sometimes, everybody. So I just want to make sure that things are working. We're going to be moving into using a thing called StreamYard in the future. We have that kind of set up. We just got to get that implemented as far as our process. But basically, $5,000, I want to say real quick, that's a lot of money, right? For a lot of people in the business of real estate investing, it's honestly not that much money. And I want you all to understand that everyone's perspective on what's a lot of money is going to be different. Okay. So when we talk about $5,000, this is like the lower end of what is possible. I want to set that expectation like kind of low to know that we've had deals. Okay. And I can share the story. If you want to share it today, you guys can let me know. You can put in a second. I'll tell you what to put in the chat or put into the comment. We had a deal last year, and I made our company and a couple of partners that we worked together on this with that brought this whole thing together in a matter of 3 weeks, $140,000, $140,000 in the same process that we're explaining today. So your spectrum of what's possible, really on the low end, we're talking about $1,000 to $2,000 maybe for just kind of doing some basic work. On the high end, it could be multiple, tens of thousands, 100,000 plus. So if you're not excited about that, man, I don't know what else I could bring to the table today to help you get excited. So I'm sorry, but listen, if you are a newer real estate investor and you're looking to get some additional guidance and support, and you're looking for a place to go that actually cares about your success, that's committed to your success, that actually has a guarantee tied to your success, then you got to check out jointhegrowthcollective.com. Jointhegrowthcollective.com is going to have information about our private coaching and mastermind group called The Growth Collective, which we have here. We're inside of our Zoom room. We have our folks from all across the country and even one person up in Canada, possibly more people joining us in other parts of the world. We actually have a couple of folks that are virtual from our team also joining from all parts of the world, excuse me. But ultimately, without going into every detail, we're going to talk today, though, the specific steps with some detail, and there's gonna be some stuff we can follow up on with any questions you might have. So towards the end of the conversation today, we're gonna have the opportunity for questions, and that's gonna be where you guys can plug into the actual Zoom directly. So if you guys want us to drop the Zoom link, I need you to do me a favor and put the comment 140 representing what's possible that I've personally seen $140,000 on one transaction without fixing up the house, without doing any work, without ever actually stepping foot or seeing the property. If you want to learn how to make up to 100K more on one single property, put 140 as my reminder for me in the comment, please. And then what we're going to do is if we see enough, if we see at least 10 140s, that's a lot of numbers. If we see at least 10 comments showing 140, we're going to drop the Zoom link. Once we get the 10 on Facebook, we'll drop the Zoom link. Because I want to make sure we have enough people listening and kind of even caring about what we're talking about. If we don't, it's all good. But the folks that are commenting, maybe you can encourage somebody, maybe you can invite a friend, you can tag somebody, call them out, whatever you want to do, just let people know we need a couple more 140s. I'm going to kind of encourage you guys as you're doing that. Also, those of you that are live on Facebook, tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're doing business. Tell us anything about your business that we should know that you can benefit the group by telling us, or then we can benefit you as well. In other words, hey, I'm located in central New Jersey, or I'm located in Florida, or I'm located in Miami, I'm located in, Texas, and I'm looking to do fix and flips. I'm looking to do buy and hold. I'm having challenges with this or that, or I have this opportunity here, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever that looks like. So far, we got 3 folks. Shout out to Marcella, Esther, Bobby, Maricela, excuse me, not Marcella, Maricela. We see a few 140s there. And we got to go off unique comments of 140. So we're almost there. I see a couple folks in Zoom trying to help out, but I'm going to wait a couple seconds for some more folks on Facebook, see if we get to 10. We might have to give them a couple bonus 140s, okay, if we have to get them that little nudge. We got Hilda at 140, okay. What's up, Hilda? How you doing? We got 4. We going for what, 6 more? Who's our next 140? If you don't know what I'm talking about, 140, $140,000. We might have like not had the attendance to this meeting if I told you can make $140,000 in 3 weeks without touching the property. I think people might have been like, okay, this guy's like getting a little ridiculous now. It's possible. It's happened. It will happen. If you focus on it, it will happen. The question is how quickly and how important is it for you? How much of a priority are you making it to happen? I'm here to show you how it can happen. I'm here to tell you about how it's happened. I'm here to help you make it happen. In fact, join thegrowthcollective.com has the information how we're helping our clients from all across the country make these kinds of deals happen. Shout out to Jasmine for doing her first couple of flips. She's underway in a couple of projects. She's out there raising capital. She's looking to do more deals. Shout out to Rich and Felipe doing their first flip as well. Shout out to Jenny and Glenn right down here in Sarasota, Florida, doing one property, selling another property. Shout out to Vonnie, who's worked with us in the past out there, I think in Louisiana, making some things happen with some flips. Who else am I missing? Give me a couple of shout outs. I apologize. I don't have everybody's. I know Joe is up in New Jersey. Joe Gazzardi just has a massive portfolio. He's building that out, doing some wholesale. Who else do we have in the room with us that wants to tell the group on Facebook why they got to post 140 to come meet you guys? Who else has something that they're working on right now that would be exciting for the room to know why they should keep posting the 140 to get in the room with us? Anybody else want to tell us what you got? What are you working on? Wendy's in the process of doing her first deal, right? Wendy's got some things happening. Sean is working on some stuff. I know. Who else do we have in the room here? Let's see. Sweat is up there in New Jersey. Jason and Christy are making some stuff happen on the other coast of Florida. I don't know who HP is. HP, who we have in the room with us? Maybe you could tell us your name, or you can just put that in the comment. That'd be perfect. Let's see. All right. Well, I'm telling you guys, if you don't know like who is making stuff happen, again, great reason to go over to jointhegrowthcollective.com. It has a full laundry list of testimonials, people's success stories, people's progress. Oh, Adam Smith. Shout out to Adam. I'm not going to tell you everything about Adam, but I'll tell you something that this guy is an entrepreneur's entrepreneur. He's got a successful remodeling business on the East Coast. He's got a cabinetry business delivering cabinets all across the country, right? Shipped to your properties. He's doing stuff with apartments now. He's doing roofing for apartments. He's got some really cool stuff he's working on right now. We're working together one-to-one. Liana, shout out to Liana. I forgot Liana, my goodness. Liana's up in Colorado. Liana's like, she's hosting events. She's got her own network going on. She's got the women's, collective up in Colorado. She's building out. She's got, deals in Florida and deals in Colorado. Like amazing person. Check out Liana Pomeroy, right? Larry, what's up, Larry? I see you, man. Larry's out there, I think in Arizona. He's doing some stuff in Florida. He's not one of our clients, but I actually helped Larry with his capital on a deal a little while ago. But Larry, I'd love to reconnect with you, man. See what you're up to these days. So listen, I'm feeling generous today. I want to get you guys that took the time to be here with us on Facebook. I want to get you in the room. I see Sean put 140 for you. Candace put 140. She put bonus 130. I don't know what that means, but okay. An extra 130 just in case. Kevin's got 140. We got Gabriel and Rich. We got enough 140s collectively. So in the nature of the Growth Collective, join thegrowthcollective.com. In the nature of having the Growth Collective help sponsor this event for you to post this here in this free community, right? We're going to let you guys drop into the Zoom with us. Okay. So I want to ask that Joe or someone that's on Facebook can drop the link for the Zoom.
I got it, Doug. I'm actually dropping it personally to them, not to everyone.
All I'd ask though, and we got a couple more, you guys, the Growth Collective is showing you guys on Facebook some love. Sweta and Joe just put a couple more. So we definitely got at least 10 altogether. But the fact is that 140 seems again, like far-fetched, but I'm telling you, this is a real property in New Jersey that was really flipped, that actually the person that bought it, as they bought the property, we took title to the property. I'll tell you the whole story if we have time today. I'm going to tell you the process to get there though. They went and sold that property for more than what they bought it for from us. So actually, if you look at the whole transaction, We had it for 510. We sold it for 650. I believe they sold it for 750 or 800, like relatively fast after that to somebody else. How is that even possible? You might say. I'm going to tell you and show you today how that's possible through the power of what we call wholesaling, contract flipping, or otherwise called quick flips. And today specifically, everybody, and I asked again, just remind everybody, if you could please stay on mute when you come in the room. I know you're listening to me on Facebook. Maybe you're coming into the Zoom session. Please just do us the favor, be courteous and kind. If you want to have a question answered, just put it into the chat. You're going to see some people inside of Zoom with you that you might not have met before. Feel free to network inside the chat. Totally fine, but just stay on mute, please. Look, because the power of wholesaling is really identifying opportunities that other people want to have access to, and you either get to it first, or you understand the power of showing with clarity the opportunity that actually exists already there. Now, I'll tell you a quick funny story. And I love my sons, and both of my sons and my daughter and my wife, and they're maybe listening. Well, they're not, the sons and my daughter are at school right now, but my wife might hear this. I don't know. It's not knocking my oldest son, Jacob. I love him to death. But this morning, literally this morning, he goes to school, and him and his sister, my daughter, have to wear uniforms as they go to a private school, basically, right? So he's wearing a belt every day that's required. If you don't wear a belt, you get detention, I think. It's pretty serious, right? This belt stuff is like no joke. He goes, Daddy, Mommy, we're like rushing around like, 6:45 this morning. Like, I don't know where my belt's at. I'm like, all right, well, listen, wait, maybe check your closet. Like, I mean, it's not on the dresser. Is it like underneath your bed, or is it in the closet? Like, where is it? Go to the closet, go look upstairs. Maybe there's a closet right now is a little bit of a disaster because him and his brother's 4 years old. Like, they're messing around the closet, playing games and stuff. Stuff's all over the place. Sometimes he just throws the belt after a long day at school, tough life going to school. I love him, but just joking around a little bit. But fact is, where was his belt? The belt the whole time, everybody, and it's not his fault. This happens to all of us. Let's be honest. Was sitting right on his dresser in front of him the whole time. His belt was literally in the place that he would normally go, but for some reason this morning, because he's looking around doing other stuff, whatever he's doing, he couldn't see the belt that was right in front of his eyes. And I can't make this stuff up. This is this morning. So how much of an analogy is that for you right now, that you're sitting in a room, which we are so appreciative of you being here right now with us. We thank you for the investment of time you're making today with us. And I'm here to serve you, not to just like waste your time, spin your wheels, take a bunch of nonsense, whatever. No, we're here to serve you and everyone after you that watches this replay with real value. But I'm here, and I've been here the whole time. And maybe you haven't noticed until today, but that's okay. Today is the day. I want you to take a piece of paper and a pen and write down, today is the day. If it's not yet happened, if it hasn't, in your mind happened, if it hasn't been something that you've realized yet or seen, like today, if never before, is the day for the rest of your life to start, obviously, but for the rest of your real estate investment life, the journey to start. What do I mean? The information I'm going to share with you today is specific. It's examples. There's real life scenarios that I've lived personally firsthand, that people close to me, people in this room on Zoom with us have lived personally. I've seen this work. I know that it works. I know that it's working on a massive level all across the country. And yet here we are, and it's saying this respectfully. A lot of folks sitting here saying, I didn't even know this existed. I didn't know this was even possible. Okay. Today is going to be a lot of me explaining stuff and you taking down some notes. So like I kind of joked around with somebody the other day, I think it was one of my groups. I said, grab one of these, hold a pen, right? Not a pen. We don't want to use pencils. I'm going to tell you why in a second. Grab a pen, get a clean sheet of paper. It's my planner. Okay. Clean. And then we're going to learn how to write down stuff from our hand to paper. That's the first thing. We got to make sure we write stuff down. So if you haven't written anything else down yet, again, reminder, today is the day. Write down, today's the day. Douglas J. Beck is going to show me the way. Today is the day. All right. So here we are. We're going to break down the steps. I'm going to break down the steps for you, and I want you to follow along. I'm going to give you kind of some backdrop of how this whole thing works, though. Why is there so many people on the internet right now promoting with educational programs and services and all this stuff, and this whole industry has been created around real estate investing about fixing and flipping? Why is it about wholesaling, which you may not know what that really means, but maybe you do? Why are they selling services? Why are they selling this dream, this vision? See, we don't, at JDL Ventures and the Growth Collective, we don't sell dreams. We actually help you make them happen. And I mean that. And I say that in a kind and loving way, not an arrogant way. I said that a little strong. I'm not here to sell you a dream. If you're just a dreamer, then God bless you. I'm praying for you, but you have to take action. We help you take the action and make it happen. And if that's not evidence enough by our clients' success and the testimonies that we have, again, jointhegrowthcollective.com has all that detail. You can set up a call with someone from my office, maybe even me, right? It's like it's on a rotation. So you could click a link to schedule time, and depending upon how it's set up and what time's available, you might get me on the phone with you. And if it's not me on the first one, if you want to talk to me, I'm happy to hop on a call. We just have to schedule it. Okay. The fact of the matter is this, though. I want you to kind of take some basic information down here. We're talking about contracts on real estate. This is not exactly what you might see. Like when you watch the TV shows and you see people buying houses from auctions or buying stuff from whoever they're buying it from, the seller, an agent, an investor, whatever. And then they go and do all this work and they do it in like 30 minutes, but it really takes like, more than 30 days, but like, 3 to 6 months or more sometimes for the projects that you see on TV that are like kind of easy, if you would. They're not like these massive renovations usually. They're usually like, oh, this is update the kitchen, do the floors, paint the walls. Okay, it's so beautiful. We're done in like 20 minutes. That's one way to make a lot of money in real estate, but it's also one way to lose money in real estate. That's the fix and flip process. Okay. Fixing up a property is highly speculative of what that property will ultimately sell for. And every single dollar that you put into that piece of real estate is a stronger commitment to the success that may or may not occur at the end of the road. What do I mean? Well, if you buy a property for $200,000, and let's say you're putting in $50,000 at your budget, this is what I'm not talking about doing today. This is something that you could do, but this is like a different topic. This is fix and flip. Buy it for $200,000. First thing is, are you getting a great deal? How are you funding it? We talk about that in the Growth Collective. We have the details. But the fact is, I still have to renovate with 50K more, 60K more, 100K more of additional work after I've already purchased this property. And there's a lot of complexity to that. So we have stuff about how to manage renovations, how to properly get those done successfully, all that kind of stuff. But then we're still not done because we don't get paid, everybody, on a fix and flip until we sell the property. Until we sell the property. I want you to write down, I won't get paid on a fix and flip until I sell the property. And that seems obvious, but it's not as obvious when you're excited about buying the property. It's not as obvious when you're in the middle of a renovation and you're like, man, this is exciting. We're making progress. You're like, but wait a second, there's more money going out of my account than there is coming in when it comes to this project because it's a liability until you sell the property. Yes, you have collateral, you have an asset, you have a piece of property, but no, you don't create income from fix and flips. I'm here today to show you a way, even if you already fix and flip. By the way, if you are fixing and flipping or looking to fix and flip, do me a favor, post a comment in Facebook, fix and flip. We want to have a conversation because we might have some opportunities for you that would be worth looking at. Fix and flip would be a comment for you to post. If you're a client or not, just tell us. We have a team that focuses on sourcing deals all across multiple markets in the country. Not every state, but a few, right? Like a handful. And we have clients also doing the same thing. So we can connect you guys from this group, the Real Estate Investing Mastermind group, with the Growth Collective clients. That's part of our secret sauce of how our clients are getting success. We are sourcing deals collaboratively. Okay. So again, if you're fixing and flipping, just do me a favor, put a comment, fix and flip. So we know that. Check this out though. Fix and flips don't pay until you sell. And the question is, what will you sell them for? Today, I don't have the time to go into it, but I can tell you probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 stories right off the top of my head like this, where we anticipated selling for a certain price, but for whatever reason, that was much higher than the price that it ended up selling for. And those projects had some challenges, right? We didn't make as much money. In some cases, we even lost some money, right? I'm not here to tell you it's always going to be perfect, because that would be what some people do, which is basically lying to you. And I'm not a liar. I will be as straight and candid with you all the time. I'm all about authenticity, about being totally open. Some people call it vulnerability. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being perfect. That's not my goal here. God is perfect, and I'm just a steward. At the end of the day, I'm called to serve you and help you avoid those pitfalls. So today, though, check this out. We just want to write down the word fix and flip, and I want you guys to draw a line through it for a second. Just don't even think about fix and flip. This is not fixing and flipping. I want you to write down the words fix and flip. and cross them out on a piece of paper. I know that sounds stupid and weird, but just trust me on this. It's not that. Another idea is to go out there and buy rental properties. Now let's talk about that for a second. Rental properties, it's a staple. Like it's been in existence since real estate investing has ever kind of started. That's the basis of like what most people consider to be real estate investing. It's got a lot of positive and beneficial things. In fact, I'm a landlord myself, right? My wife and I own multiple properties and we're growing our portfolio. And we've also fixed and flipped a bunch of properties. And we've also done the wholesale process, like I'm going to talk about today, on hundreds of properties as our company. And we've helped clients do all this stuff. And now we happen to, we're blessed. We happen to own a fund with a couple of other folks. We partnered up with a fund and we help provide capital to real estate investors all across the country. So if you're looking for funding, put the word funding in the comments. If you need capital, put the word funding or capital in the comment. We'll happily take a look at your deal. See, like I'm not the guy. I want you to understand something. And my clients, I hope you hear me right on this and tell me, keep me honest. If you feel differently, just call me out on this. I'm not the guy who just coaches and educates. That's not me. So if you're looking for just coaching and education, let's not even spend any more time. Let's not waste any time of yours or mine. I'll refer you to somebody who just only does that, and that's fine. You can go have, whatever you need from them, and that's good. With me, every time I pick up the phone or have a Zoom call with somebody that's a client of mine, I'm saying to myself, how do I help this person close their next deal? How do I help them source the capital they need? How do I help them source the deal that they need? How do I help them solve the problem they're facing? How do I help them navigate through the pitfalls that are going to exist, whether they like it or not? That's what I focus on. Again, and I'm going to go into the details for today. Join thegrowthcollective.com. I implore you, get the information. There's no cost to get the information. There's obviously a fee and an investment required to get into the group if you want to be in a private, small community of people all looking to make deals happen with each other, in fact, and with a group of people supporting you in the process. Myself and a number of other coaches in the group serving you every single week, almost every day, basically at this point, every week. So, but we don't just coach. That's the difference. Shout out to Coach Brendan, one of our newest additions to the coaching staff, as I call it, right? Coach Brendan's a local real estate agent, but he's also been a real estate investor. This gentleman has done hundreds, what I could tell, fix and flips. He was doing 40 or 50 fix and flips a year, right? We've done like 50 something of fix and flips in the course of 7 years. We've done hundreds of wholesale flips. We've done as many as like 50 or 60 deals in 1 year, but Brendan has run an operation. Brendan is one of our coaches. I'm excited to have Brendan serve and work with us. He's an awesome guy too. If you're in the Growth Collective and you don't know who Coach Brendan is, you need to figure out how to get on that meeting. He's typically doing them on Monday nights. Now he's coming on Thursdays. Well, at least for today, this week, I think, because Monday was a holiday. Coach Rich Lineski, what's up, my brother? Rich Lineski has been working with me for the past 5 or 6 years. I'm humbled and honored to say that he was somebody that met me at a networking event that we hosted in our office that we used to have in Hillsborough, New Jersey. He worked with me, as his coach, his mentor for about 5 or 6 months. And then he also did a couple of deals. He did his first couple of wholesale flips. We did a project together, a fix and flip. And he's going to do some amazing things, working in the, private money space, doing fix and flips, doing wholesale, doing buy and hold. He's got all kinds of stuff. And he's now a real estate agent as well. But I'm sharing this with you because I want you to understand the people that we connect with, typically the people that take it serious and do stuff that we suggest and recommend and kind of advise you to consider, they're going to go on to do some amazing things. And it's not because of me, but it's just because the sharing of knowledge and information and wisdom. So today, again, I'm going to invest the time with you all to talk about the wholesale strategy. One more person I'm going to shout out, my business partner, my friend, and my fellow managing partner in the fund, Phil Doyle. Phil and I have known each other for almost a decade as well. Phil, I didn't realize this until Phil told me the other day, but he could tell you himself. He might do a little thing for me at some point to tell people this, but Phil bought his first rental from JDL. So JDL is our wholesale company, right? Phil came from the construction background. He wasn't a client of mine per se, to be fair. Like, he didn't sign up for coaching. That's okay. You don't need to be a client to do business with us. If you just want to do deals, that's fine. We're happy to talk with you. But Phil bought his first rental. And now check this out. Fast forward probably like at least 50, if not 100 projects later, fix and flip projects. God knows how many millions of dollars. Probably, I would wager to guess that Phil's been involved directly on over $50 to $60 million worth of real estate. Guys, It's not me though. It's all because of Phil. You see, like he took the action. And now check it out. He started a fund a couple of years ago, and he was kind enough to give me the opportunity to kind of jump in to that fund with him and help serve the people that we serve there and help raise capital for that fund as well. So these are stories of people beyond just our clients, relationships that we have, which is kind of the backdrop for our conversation today. Okay. So what do I mean by that? Let's get our pens out again. I want you all to write down the word wholesale. Wholesale. It's WHOLESALE. If you're hearing me on Facebook and you want to follow along online, maybe you don't have a pen and paper, just type the word wholesale on Facebook as a comment. Let me know you're hearing us okay. Okay. What does that mean? Well, in the industry, in supply chain, I happen to have a background in IT and procurement. If you don't know this, I worked at Johnson & Johnson, big pharma. I worked in their corporate IT department, helping procure, negotiate, source, okay, stuff for J&J for like a little while. Like I was working at J&J for almost 10 years. I worked in procurement for about 3 or 4 years. And my responsibility was to source, as in help J&J buy stuff for IT services, IT supply, like as far as software and hardware and networking. In that process, I learned a lot about negotiation. I also learned a lot about supply chain, right? Because that's what's related to that. And so what I'm talking about is in a supply chain, if you want to understand the macro level, and then we're going to get into the specifics of steps, you have the raw materials, right? Any supply chain of any good or service has some raw materials involved. You have a manufacturer, the person that puts those raw materials into something and creates a good, not a finished good, but just something that can be put into something else. Then you typically have, well, they could make a finished good, but then it's wholesaled, excuse me. It's going to be manufactured, maybe put in a package or whatever, or given to somebody to put into a package. And then it's going to be put into larger quantities typically, and what's called wholesaled, right? Put in packs of 5, 10, 100, 1,000, a million things, and wholesaled to what? Does anybody know? What's the next iteration of a supply chain after we wholesale it? Who is the next group of people? What do we call those next group of people? Okay, it starts with the letter D. It's not a bad word, and it's not 4 letters. Anybody know on Facebook? What's after the wholesale process? Sweta says distributors. Yes, thank you, Sweta. Sorry if anyone on Facebook was going to guess that. You know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but Sweta's inside the group here. You guys should be inside of Zoom if you're already on Facebook. If you can, just click the button. Bonnie says distribution. Perfect. So let me ask you this question. Who are the distributors in the real estate supply chain? Who are the distributors? Think about that for a second. If we're going to wholesale and we're selling these, which I'm going to kind of cut to the point here, and then we're going to go into the process, we're going to get an opportunity, a deal that we're going to wholesale to the distributor. Who is my user of that deal? Who's going to take on the responsibility of this transaction, the property, the project? Andrea says the right answer. Who on Facebook thinks they got this? Who am I going to work with? Who is my buyer? What are the buyers called that are working on a real estate investment project? Just call them real estate investors, right? Buyers, cash buyers, private money lender buyers, people that want to go ahead and actually do the work, renovators, landlords. Right, these are the words I use: renovators and landlords. Thanks, buddy. I love you. My youngest is over here giving me some food. I'm going to have that in a little bit, buddy. All right, take Benji downstairs, okay? Thanks. Check this out. There's 2 types of distributors in my world, and probably in your world now too. Write this one down: renovators, landlords. Renovators, landlords. Looks like Steve is going to join us. Steve, welcome. Once you get the audio set up, I'm not sure who Steve is. Steve, feel free to put your contact. By the way, the Growth Collective members inside of Zoom, now's a chance for you to put your contact and tell us a little blip about yourself in the chat as I'm talking. So feel free to take notes, but also take the time to introduce yourself. Same thing for anybody who's here as a guest from the Real Estate Investing Mastermind group inside of Zoom. We want to reward you for the opportunity to come in here. Just use the chat feature to go ahead and put a comment with your contact information or however you want to present yourself to the room. All right, I'm going to keep going though. So Distributors are renovators or landlords. Why is that? Well, renovators, we're talking about, hey, just to kind of step back. Let's just the 5 steps to make 5K or more in the next 5 days. This is the backdrop to that. Okay. I want you to understand this is not like, this is like the preview, the intro, if you would. I'm going to give you the meat and potatoes in a moment here. But the fact is, this is important because if we don't understand this part, if we don't set ourselves up for success, if we don't have the right contacts and we don't have the right context as well, we're not going to make this happen. It's just not going to happen. All right. So renovators and landlords. You know that show on those TV channels like HGTV or A&E, the people that flicks up houses and sell them, what would you classify those people as, landlords or renovators? Easy one, right? What do you think? Renovators. I mean, I'm just going to keep going because we don't have much time here. Renovators. So those folks that fix up houses and sell them, they're buying their property through somebody else that owns it, either the seller themselves, a wholesaler that has this under contract, hint, hint, we're going to get to that in a second, or an agent that has a listing or maybe a listing coming up that now they have this opportunity to go buy this distressed real estate that needs work done to it. Renovators work on real estate so that they can add value, write down the words add value, and ultimately sell for a higher price than what they paid for everything that they did to the property and what they paid for it initially. That's obvious. Okay. So if that's the case, then I need to know one of my customers, if I'm looking to wholesale, one of my customers on the capital flow side, we're going to talk about capital flow and deal flow in a second, is a renovator. Maybe I need to think about connecting with some renovators. Well, let's see. Who are the renovators? Contractors, people that fix and flip for a business, builders, brokers and agents, investors who just get a great deal, right? Maybe some of you all, right? If you're a renovator, if you're a fix and flip investor, like I said before, fix and flip or renovate, just put one of those words in the chat or somewhere else that you can, that other people can see it so we know who you are. All right. Fix and flip or renovate, whichever one you want to use. All right. We're not talking about renovating for somebody else. I'm talking about the people that will buy the property in distress and then fix it up and then ultimately sell it, or even fix it up and keep it. But now they become a landlord. So we'll talk about that too a little bit. Let's go to the second bucket, landlords. Just a level set here. Landlords, rental property owners. What's the main goal? What do you think? I'm going to ask you guys, including the Growth Collective. Feel free to put some feedback here, but definitely on Facebook. What are some of the goals that a great landlord is considering? What are their goals in owning rental real estate? What are some of the goals? Not just one, but what are some of the goals? What do they want to accomplish as owning this property as a rental? What do you guys think? I see Joe is a buy and hold investor. Joe Gazzardi, I know he's in the Growth Collective too. So Joe knows passive income, cash flowing, income. Esther says income. Sweta says passive income. Andrea, cash flowing. That's all income related. Now, is that the only thing that they're looking for though? Sometimes it is. Depends on what the property looks like. That's a hint. What if the property is in distress? Can they still make it a rental? Has anyone ever heard of the term the BRRRR process? Buy, renovate, rent, refi. I hope some of you have. I mean, the Growth Collective, I know you have, honestly. All right. We did a training on that. If you want to learn through a free training of how you could buy distressed real estate, renovate it without using your own time and money to do so, and then ultimately refinance it and keep it as a rental, just put the word or the letters BRRR, and then myself or someone from my team will send you a link on DM with the link to that free training about the BRRRR process. We have multiple trainings, but the one I did, I think it was June of last year, if I'm not mistaken. My team can look that up. I did a live presentation about the BRRRR process. Okay, so make sure we capture that. And if you're on Zoom, that's fine. We could track the Zoom, but especially on Facebook too. Okay, so today is not about fix and flip. It's not about own and rent the properties. It's not about BRRRR. So, but I'm telling you these things for two reasons. Number one, because we want to know that other people do these things. You could do some of these things too, and that's fine. But also because We don't have to do those things to make a bunch of money as a real estate investor. We don't have to own the property even to make money with other real estate investors. See, I've had on presentations for quite a while now that the wholesale process boils down to a couple of things. It boils down to marketing. I want you to write this down. I need to market. These are not the 5 steps. I'm gonna get the 5 steps, but I need to market. I need to negotiate, and I need to make a deal. Those are the 3 things that a great wholesale real estate investor focuses on: marketing, negotiation, and making deals. Okay, they're not all the same, I promise you. When you hear the 5 steps and you write those down, you're going to see how there's differences with these things. See, skills are not the same things as steps. I coach on skills and some steps, but you could have the skills but not know the steps, and you could have the steps but not have the skills, if that makes any sense. You got to have both of them, or have somebody that does both, knows the steps and also can actually implement the skills that they have to make this happen. So if you're not that strong in marketing, look, send me a DM. Doug, you know what? I love what you said about this and that. I want to learn more about that, but I'm really not that good at marketing. How can I make this work? Shoot me a DM. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable telling us what your weaknesses are. It's all good. Just send me a DM. There's a process around that. We can talk about how I can help you with marketing. If maybe you're not that strong in negotiation, let me know that too in a DM on Facebook. Or perhaps you don't know how to make a deal because you've done the negotiation, you've done the marketing, the negotiation, but you don't know how to put it all together. To be clear, just to make sure the Growth Collective knows, and anyone who's a guest, I want you all to send me a DM, meaning a direct message on Facebook, if you could. If you're already a client of ours and you have a question about that, by all means, you could use the Slack channel, and you could have one of our team members or myself just kind of lean into that with you and kind of set up a conversation about how we can, add some more value in that way for you. Okay, so let's get to the meat and potatoes, all right? The 5 steps. There's a couple of 5-step things. I'm going to tell you the first one to know the bigger picture of the 5 steps. And we're going to talk about the 5 steps specifically for this process. Okay. Is that cool with everybody? You guys good with that? I hope you're all good with that. Okay. Just give me a hand raise if you're on video. I see Wendy up there. Esther, thank you. Growth Collective, I'm going to challenge you guys. If you're in a place that is something you could go on video for, or if you're a guest in the room, by all means, please come off of, or come on to video, I should say. That would be super helpful to see you guys. If you're able to be on video, that'd be amazing. And if you're not in the Zoom room and you want the link, it's actually on the chat or the comment. You just have to find it through the feed. I don't know exactly where that's at, but you can find it there. All right. And you can click on the Zoom room, pop into Zoom, like I think Steve did, and possibly a couple other people. So the first 5 steps, right? The first 5 steps at a macro level are the following. And this is something I want you all to ingrain in your brain. Number 1, identify. Identify what? Well, identify the market, identify the types of deals, identify leads that come in with an S, leads, not one, but many leads. Identify. If you don't know how to find properties that might be a good fit, go to nationwidesellerleads.com, nationwidesellerleads.com. That's a gateway to a service, a tool, a database, a system that has access to millions of property owners' records, all right there waiting for you. You can click a couple buttons and do what's called skip trace, and you can basically find their phone numbers and call them or send them mail. Not something I recommend for everybody to do, but if you want to get into that research mode and check it out and identify some things, see where the market's at, get some analysis done, that kind of stuff, use that tool, nationwidesellerleads.com. Okay. Once I identify something, step 2 is I have to analyze this opportunity that gets presented to me. I find a potential seller. I find a potential property to buy. How do I analyze this? Well, I got to get some information as inputs, and I got to put it into a system. The system that we use, that I coach on, is called Run Your Numbers. runyournumbers.com. runyournumbers.com is the gateway to that system. Our clients use it religiously. And I say that word delicately because we're not talking about religion. We're talking about religiously, meaning like it's a routine, it's a process, it's systematic, right? This isn't about what you believe in as how you follow your faith. That's important too for you. It's important for us to have faith. I'm talking about religiously as in like, this is what we do in and day out. It's like a routine. Okay. I want to have one source of truth. What does that mean, everybody? Source of truth means When I run my numbers, when you run yournumbers.com, one source of truth, one system, one process, one analysis method. Now, there's going to be a different method of analysis as a real estate investor for fix and flip renovations or landlording, but that's another story for another day. Okay. We have content about that inside of our community, inside of our TGC community. And you guys that are clients of ours and already know that, you got to check that out. Number 3 step, negotiation. Negotiation. This is, by the way, the macro level steps. This is not the specific. We're going to get into the specific takeaways. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to send you guys off to go do this. Okay. And you're going to come back hopefully and say, hey, I got questions. And then we talk. Negotiation is all about figuring out where are the levers, and making a better deal by using those levers and by using some skills. A lot of times doing this, using these things, right? Listening, not talking as much. I talk a lot because I'm sort of presenting here with you. I'm coaching you guys from afar. That's why it's a little better if we find a way to work together. I have a few spots, just a heads up for the growth collector to know. I have a few more one-on-one spots. If anybody wants to move into a one-on-one, you guys get first preference. So if you want to just start spending some time weekly or bi-weekly, whatever, and you want to get this like really dialed in, I'm here for you. So just let me know that we can work out the details. If you guys are not a client of ours, I'm going to give preference to my growth collector first. But if you guys are interested in having one-on-one time with me to work together either on a weekly or a bi-weekly or monthly basis, let me know that as well. Hit me up in a DM and say, I'm looking to do some one-on-ones. Why would someone want to do one-on-ones? Because I can't coach you at a macro level on negotiation from afar. This is an interactive discussion. Hey, if I'm talking to Andrea or Wendy or Rich or somebody else, tell me about what is this? What's that there? What's that information? Okay, tell me what's their motivation? Okay, what have they told you so far? Then they tell me, okay, cool. What have you thought about this? What about that? I see that picture there that shows me, okay, consider this. That's the kind of coaching I do one-to-one, specifically to your deal, your situation. All right. So that's important. That's different than presenting in front of a room, which is awesome. I love doing this when I can and being on podcasts and stuff like that. I love doing the group style coaching, but one-on-one is just something special about one-to-one. All right. Makes a difference. So with that being said, we move into step 4, which is basically entering into contracts, right? Contracts. I coach on this and you guys need to hear this. The contract is your ticket to the closing. The contract is a ticket to the closing. With no contract, there might not be a closing. With no contract, things are open-ended and ambiguous. We don't really want that. So we need to have contract to buy the property. Yes, even if you're wholesaling, quick PSA for my wholesaler friends out there in Never Never World on Facebook. If you're a wholesaler and you consider yourself to bring deals to other people, I hope that you understand the process of entering into contract. And if you don't, hey, listen, I'm here to help you. If you need my help, just hit me up privately. It doesn't need to be a public thing. It's all good. Like if you're already actively wholesaling, like how do I do this the right way? How do I get contracts? How do I take that risk? How do I feel good about like going into contract and knowing that, I don't have all the information. Maybe I can't close this by myself. Maybe I need someone in my corner. We'd love to be the person in your corner to help you with that. In fact, if you want to DM me or send a message about wholesaling, just let me know that. If you want to shortcut it, if you have a deal right now that you're working on and you need some help and guidance on, and this is for anybody who's hearing me right now, send an email to wholesale@jdlventures.com, wholesale@jdlventures.com. That's going to allow us to understand your scenario. You don't need to give it the address or like that. Just a general idea. We'll let you know if we either are personally interested or we have someone in our network that would be interested. And if we do, we could help you get it to be, sold, get the deal sold, get the deal closed and sold. So again, we're on step 4 of the higher level steps. And then step 5 is real simply close, right? Close or exit. And that's kind of obvious, like close the deal. So let's go now to zoom in. Let's zoom in further. The 5 steps to make a minimum, I would say, set a minimum of 5K if you're committed to this in the next 5 days. Is anybody here committed to make this happen? Who's committed? Type the word committed on Facebook or on Zoom. If you're committed to make this happen, please just put the word committed. So I know you're hearing me okay. Okay, committed. I see Joe's committed. I think Growth Collective's committed. I think you guys are just typing right now. Esther's committed. Andrea's committed. Excellent. I can't tell on Facebook, it might just be Facebook's algorithm or something, but Bonnie's committed. I know we got a few people watching. I always like to say we got some stalkers, but it's okay. I don't mind as long as you're here for the right reasons. If you're here to like, hate on us or something like that, we don't really have time for that. But like Grant Cardone says, like, you don't have haters. You're not trying hard enough. So I guess we're going to have to, unfortunately, annoy some people. I don't know. That's not really my style, but it happens sometimes because people don't always like what you have to say. Like, look, it's okay to be different. All right. We don't have to all be the same. Like, that's not the way the world was designed. God put us here to be different and to share our skills and our unique abilities and all that kind of stuff. So it's okay if you don't see the things the same way I do. It's just that just don't make a mockery out of somebody else or me for no reason, just to waste time. It's not a good use of your time. I've seen people do that. And it's kind of sad. And I feel bad. And I pray for those folks. So it's like, hey, you know what? There's other places you can do that. It's not here in this domain. So Maricela says committed. Excellent. So we got a couple folks in the Facebook. We got Steve here as well as a guest. Candace is committed. Listen, here's the thing. I want you to write down, I am committed. Like, you need to understand this. It needs to be in your head and ingrained. I am committed. Me, myself. Yes, I, not you, not me, but you. Like, you have to write the word I am committed. Okay. 5 steps, 5K or more in the next 5 days. Literally, you could do these things in a couple of days. Like, you could do this today. It's only 1:50, not even in the East Coast. Like, some people on the West Coast, it's still the morning. If you're another part of the world, if you're like in Asia, I don't know. Well, I guess Asia will be tomorrow. So whatever. Yeah, it's Friday. And Hawaii, I guess we got Mary Lou out in Hawaii. Hopefully, God willing, everything's good in Hawaii. Hawaii got a lot of stuff going on. I'm so sad to see all those pictures. We actually spent a lot of time in Hawaii for a honeymoon and stuff, and it was not like that. So I pray for all the people that were affected by the things going on in Hawaii and Maui and stuff. Just crazy to see all that going on. But nonetheless, if you're committed, you can make this happen like today. All right. So what are we going to do? Step 1. Remember I said before, at a macro level, at a higher level, we're talking about identifying deals. We're talking about identifying opportunities. How long would it take you to find somebody who doesn't want to sell that then wants to sell to you? Would it take you a little bit of time, a lot of time, or a really long time? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to answer for you. It's going to take you at least a little bit of time, if not a long time, to find somebody who doesn't want to sell right now, to decide that they're going to sell it to you because they like your deal for whatever reason, and you like their deal. It's a lot longer. So what's the alternative? Here's the alternative. Step number 1, deal flow. Look to your left if you're sitting down. Okay, over there is deal flow. You want to write it down on a piece of paper, put that over there. Sure. Deal flow. Deal flow comes from wholesalers. Yes. You want to wholesale the wholesale, Doug? Kind of, not really. I'll tell you what I call it in a second, but I'm going to work with somebody who's already done the work, who's already invested the time and probably money to generate deals, what they believe to be a deal that I'm going to do what? I'm going to validate. So that's part of step 1 is get deal flow with wholesalers, with agents, with other investors, with anybody who possibly has something that could match up to the next step, which is number 2 over here, which is your capital flow. Capital flow. Okay. Capital flow means those renovators, those landlords, you can be part of capital flow, right? You might already be buying property. Well, that's even better. Now we're not going to have to worry about 5K. We're talking about buying more real estate. This is universally beneficial to you then, if that's the case. So capital flow says, who do I know that has their own capital or access to capital to go buy these great deals that I'm getting sent on my deal flow side of my equation? As a wholesaler, we call this acquisitions. Acquisitions. I acquire. As a wholesaler, we call this dispositions. I dispose of, I dispense, if you would, or sell off. Okay, dispositions. As what I call a deal aggregator, a wholesale deal aggregator. This is not a thing that people coined. Maybe I should TM it. I don't know, whatever. But it's not that fancy. It's just I aggregate. What does that mean? I take a lot of these opportunities and I assess them. We have a team that assesses them. Shout out to Ron and team that assesses and sees which of these might be something that, check it out. One of those people over there, the capital flow, happen to be some of our Growth Collective clients. You want to know how we have a 90-day do a deal guarantee? Yes, I just said that 90 days, close a deal, or we'll continue to work with you for free until you do. That's in our private coaching group because we make intention to get our deal flow to match up to your capital flow. Check it out. If you don't have capital flow and you're part of the growth collective, we can help. We have a fund that provides the majority of the funds. We have connections in the group, people that are synergizing and providing capital to one another to make deals happen. You understand? So capital flow is there. Deal flow is there with us. You need to determine, you listening to me needs to determine, will I work on deal flow and capital flow for my own business, or do I just focus on deal flow, or do I just focus on capital flow to start? Because one of those is likely to be a preference. I've learned this by doing it, by growing the companies to where we are. We prefer to be focusing heavily on capital flow and let systems and process handle the deal flow. What do I mean? Well, I can systematize the acquisitions process, the analysis process, the negotiations process, and the entering contract process for the deal flow that exists that's being sent. And I do that knowing my capital flows preferences. Okay, I'm going to make a statement here that might confuse somebody, but I'm going to clarify because I know for a fact that we have at least a couple of real estate agents that are licensed in the room. You do not have to have a license, as far as I know, in any state to do what I'm talking about, under the notion, very important, everybody, that you're going to purchase the real estate. Now, you might say, well, Doug, I'm not going to be able to purchase it because I don't have the funds to purchase it. I'm going to help you right now and say that we have a loan program. It's called transactional funding that's available that will fund 100%. Yes, 100% of what you're buying the property for. If, big if, you have a capital flow partner that wants to take over that property once you close and take title. Some people will call this a double close, a simultaneous close, same day closing. Like I said, it's just, that's an option. That's not the only option. There's also what's called an assignment. If you want to write down these words, assignment, ASSIGNMENT, assignment of contract. Many states, not every state, will be okay with an assignment of contract. It's actually a contract law, but some states are concerned if you don't have a license that you shouldn't be assigning contracts and things. And that's just, again, specific to your state. We can have a conversation. But like I told my clients, if somebody, I have certain biases for certain things, and so do you, I'm sure. But if somebody is going to go into the White House or any sort of Congress or any place that there's government authority and tell us that we can't buy real estate, I'm telling you right now, that's the day I'm moving out of this country of America and moving somewhere else that I could buy real estate. So if you can't buy real estate, then we don't have a free country anymore. If you ask me, I can't own the real estate. And check it out, I already had to pay taxes on the real estate. So what are we talking about here? The government won't let me buy this property. No. See, that's the thing. I highly, highly doubt that the day will come. And if it does, I hope you'll join me in exiting America, if that, God forbid, ever happens, because that is no longer the America that I knew as growing up. And I've seen my parents, I've seen people that are capitalists and people that are entrepreneurial and making things happen and creating economies and creating markets. That's the country I live in. All right. Whether it's in your world or not, that's how I see it. Okay. So that means that as of right now, as of the time we're recording this video, and God willing forever, as long as you could buy property in America, then this process is doable, period. Because the 140K flip I talked about before, we took title to the property using 100% of someone else's money through the transactional funding process I just explained. I got that deal from another party who became my partner on that transaction. We funded the deal with another third party, 100%. And in 3 weeks, we closed on the sale and made $140,000 as a couple of people working together on that deal. All right. So again, let me kind of bring us back. Deal flow, capital flow, deal flow, acquisitions, capital flow, dispositions. I'm in the middle. I'm assessing, I'm analyzing, I'm aggregating the deal flow so that I could find what I would call the creme de la creme. Kind of being corny here, but like the good stuff, the good deals, the ones that make sense. That's a whole nother conversation. I coach on that, percentages of rehab, profit margins, all that stuff. We can go into that. There's specific preferences. Somebody put buy box. Yeah, your buy box, a person's buy box as a landlord is going to be way different than a person who's renovating property. A person who's wholesaling deals should be thinking It's not what I want to buy. It's what we can buy together. Because here's why. The wholesale process, everybody, in my world, okay, it doesn't sound to me like an exit strategy. Okay. Exits are two things, one of two things: flip it, meaning sell the property after I do something to it, or secondly, hold it. Flip or hold are the only two exit strategies that I believe in, that I call exit strategies. The wholesale process is what I consider to be a partnership strategy. Check this out. I partner with my capital flow partner for a day, an hour, or whatever, or a few weeks, right? Because basically, I'm committing to them and they're committing to me that we're going to transact here a certain way. But they're saying, hey, you know what, Doug? I really appreciate you and the guys at JDL doing all the work you did. We appreciate your time and effort, but we don't need you involved in a transaction. We'd love to just buy you out of this deal and let you move on with everything else. Or I might say that, listen, I'm willing to let you take over from where I'm at in the process. Just pay me a certain price and I'll walk away. I mean, let's be honest. Has anybody ever had a situation, a circumstance, a friend, family member, or yourself where someone said to you, like, look, I just need this much money. I'll get out of the way. I'll just move on. You know what I mean? Like you must have had that happen or heard about that happening, right? Like, as much as we have value, let's not impede the process to make more income by getting in the way. Don't be in the way intentionally so you have the opportunity to get out of the way. Think about that. If I can get in the middle so that someone has to go through me to get what they want, isn't that a good thing? If I want to profit, if I want to create a business it's profitable, it's highly profitable. It's like 95% profit, like almost 100%, just some closing costs maybe. All right. So capital flow. So now we got step one is deal flow. Step two is capital flow. Step three, let's make the deal. Let's negotiate. Hey, I see you have this property over at 123 Main Street. My partners and I, or my capital partner, or my investor friend, or I know somebody who might be interested. Would it be okay if I told them at a very high level about this opportunity? By the way, I said agents before. This is not real estate licensed activity. We're not brokering as in representing the seller's interest or someone else's interest in a transaction. What I'm doing is I am brokering the conversation, yes, but not brokering the real estate. See, I'm operating as a principal. I'm operating as the purchaser. I am the buyer. My company buys real estate. I buy the contract. I put my name on the contract to buy the real estate. And then if I decide to sell my contract or to close on the real estate and then ultimately sell it to somebody else, that is a business decision that my company has a right to do. And so does your company or your soon to be company. I want to clarify. I'm not making a commission. I'm not acting as a licensed anything. I am buying real estate. Very important. I want you to write down, I am a buyer. What you guys need to know is you are a buyer. I want you to write down, I, as in you are a buyer. I am a buyer. Look, if you're looking to invest in real estate and you're not thinking like a buyer, we have a problem to start. We need to think like a buyer to begin with. We need to analyze like a buyer to begin with. We need to negotiate like a buyer and even more. So we have a spread to work with if you want to wholesale flip, right? So, okay, we negotiate with the deal flow. Hey, I got this 123 Main Street. I want to put a offer in at this price. I see your offer at this price. I'm going to offer you this much and close this way. That's a whole nother conversation. We can get into that in a conversation in private, or join thegrowthcollective.com. I could coach you through that process. Join thegrowthcollective.com. Again, free, 15, 20-minute meeting to have a conversation about that. Capital flow. Hey, Bob. Hey, Mary. Hey, Sue. Hey, text. I could text them. Quick story. Send out 4 texts. Some of the people in this room, I'm not going to use their names. Doesn't really matter their names, but they're all in Southwest Florida in the Lee County area. Okay. Last year, after this 140K deal closed, I was sitting in a room in Sarasota. Someone presented a deal in North Fort Myers. Okay. Hey, tell me more about that. You mind if I send this to a couple of friends of mine? No. Okay, great. Listen, I'm not making any money. I'm not brokering. I'm not even in the contract yet. I'm just talking. Am I allowed to talk to my friends about a deal that someone presented to me? I hope to God I am, because I did. Okay. I sent 4 text messages out. Hey guys. Hey, Mary. Hey, Sue. Hey, Bob. Hey, so on and so forth. Listen, someone presented this deal in this room, and I thought of you when I heard about it. Would you at all be interested in something like this if I got a contract on the property? Oh man. If I got a contract on the property, would you be interested in me flipping you the contract? Basically is what I'm saying. Would you be interested in buying it from me if I go into contract? Because I don't know, it's kind of far from me, which it is, or it's whatever the reason is. It's too big of a project for me. It's not the kind of property I'm interested in, but I think you might be interested in it. I want to bring value to you based on what I know we talked about before and what I believe to be your preferences. So would you be okay, buyer who's looking for deals every day and salivating for anything that sounds like a deal, if I brought you a deal that might possibly work, would it be okay if I sent that to you? I'm being ridiculous on purpose, so you guys kind of hear this and understand the psychology of this. Like, they're obviously going to say, yeah, tell me about it. Okay. Hey, listen, Mary, I got some information from my friends over here. They're asking about the condition. You have any pictures of the place? Can I send them some pictures to take a look at it? I'd like to tell you, I'm interested in going to a contract. I think it's going to be a special kind of contract, by the way, an option contract that gives me the right to buy the real estate, but I don't have to buy it until I execute my option. Man, I can't tell you, I'm not an attorney. You guys got to check your local state and everything laws. An option contract, in my opinion, is the best thing to do there, but it depends on your scenario, right? In that example, give me the right to buy this at a predetermined price. If I trigger my option, I'm telling you in advance that I'm planning to sell this deal. This contract is going to be sold to another investor who's next to me. I'm telling you that. So you know this ahead of time. I'm not trying to be shady. I am not that. I'm not slimy, shady, anything like that. I'm telling you straight up, can I go into contract with the intention to flip this contract to my friend for a reasonable fee? Yeah, of course. You're going to help me sell this deal. I'm going to make money too. That's what the wholesaler basically said. Okay, great. Check it out. By the way, this is step 3. I'm in the process of negotiating the deal. Okay. This is what I'm showing you, not just telling you. I'm like literally exaggerating and kind of like making it clear. Hey, I know a couple of you guys were like not as interested based on what you saw in the pictures. I told them that. And then a couple other ones were like, yeah, when can I take a look at this property? Okay. That's a great question. Hey, you know what? I know we have the contract in process right now and we're about to sign it. I just want to make sure we have access, right, Mary? Yeah, we have access. Okay, great. Yep, we have access. Okay, listen, when can we get access? Tomorrow? Okay, how about this? I'm willing to sign the contract, the option to buy that's not exclusive, meaning that you could actually continue to take this deal to other people and sell it to somebody else if we can't move fast enough and trigger our option. But the thing is, I'm not going to give you the deposit until we actually walk through the property and make sure that this is a deal that we want. Is that fair? Yeah, it's fair. Okay, great. Awesome. Hey, listen, we got access tomorrow. You're going to meet with Mary and her friend. I got the contract in process. If everything shakes out, you got the deal. Okay, let's zoom out. The deal was negotiated 10K higher. Mary's offered to me for 210. He's willing to pay 225 to 230. I said, listen, let's just make the deal at 220. Let's get it done. That's what we negotiated once we had walkthrough and stuff like that. He's like, oh, I don't know. It's not, it's this, that. And this. I'm like, okay, I need to make at least 10 grand. I got it for 210. I'm going to give it to you for 10K. We're good. Yeah. Okay, great. Sign them up. Take the contract, take the person and the people and send them. And they already have title started. Send them to the title company. I sit back and I say, okay, my job's done at this point. Now I did step 4, which is enter contract. Remember I said negotiate. And then before the 5 steps was negotiate, 3 step. And then 4th step is contracts. I did that 4th step in this deal too. I went into a contract and then I sold the contract on another contract. This might sound crazy to some people. I get it. It's a little weird. It's different. This doesn't even sound like real estate investing right now. It's actually kind of not real estate. If you think about it, it's actually contracts. This is business and contracts. We buy, check this out, everybody. Here's a secret. Our wholesale company buys and sells contracts. We don't buy and sell real estate. We buy real estate on contract, and then we sell the real estate through the contract, not the real estate. We sell the contract to the real estate. We are flipping contracts. That's what wholesaling actually is. If you don't take title. Now, if you have to take title, I'm gonna give you that. So you can write this down. Remember that word, fancy word, transactional funding. 100% of the funding you need. By the way, we're over a few minutes here. Are you guys okay? I'm wrapping this up. Is everybody good for a few more minutes? I'm gonna wrap this up for us. Give me a quick show of hands on Zoom if you're good for a few more. Facebook, feel free to say yes, we're good. And maybe value on Facebook. If you don't put the word value, I want to make sure I'm giving you value. I could just, honestly, respectfully, I say this, I could just turn off the feed on Facebook. If you guys think this is like not helping anybody, I'll just turn off the streaming feed. It's no big deal. but I know my Growth Collective members need to hear this. So is anybody on Facebook right now? Because otherwise I'm considering actually turning the feed off if it's not helping anybody. I just want to make sure this is helpful. Okay, Bonnie's good. So we got at least one. As long as one person at least in Facebook is getting value, Maricella's there too, then I'll keep going. Hilda's getting value. Hilda's, you got to get into Zoom, Hilda. We got to get you over here in the growth, but you're already in the growth. You got to pop in. Ahisha, I'm sorry. Yes, you can come back and watch this. Facebook. I love the effort there, Ali. You're putting in the word Facebook. There you go. Value. So she's like, don't leave. I want us to listen. Like, just I'll put any word, just Facebook. Like, please keep them going. That's awesome. I love that. Thank you. So Ahisha says stay. Hilda's saying yes. Okay, awesome. So I appreciate you guys being here. I'm here for you. Steve is good. Sweat is good. Andrea, awesome. Esther as well. All right, we got like another 5 to 10 minutes, I think. That's what I'm feeling, but I'm just gonna roll with it. And then you guys tell me if you got to roll, you just gotta go. It's okay. You can check the last part out, but I'm gonna give you an action plan after this, okay? To what to do next. Okay. Step 4, contracts. Okay, I'll give you 2 examples. Remember, I told you the one case about a year ago. Honestly, we found the one deal, went through the option, and then sold that contract to the investor who bought the deal down in Fort Myers. That's one way to do it. I didn't have to take title. I got paid, our company, to be clear, got paid $10,000 for bringing together the parties, but going into contract to buy and then executing an option and selling that option to the next person for $10,000 with a contract. I assigned the option to buy. Assign the option to buy. Get a purchase and sale agreement. Also, I could assign that. Get a standard realtor form, as in make an offer on the MLS that makes sense. That's at a good enough price and value that I could then legally assign this if I have the rights to legally assign it. Very important. Now, what's the alternative? The alternative is I can't assign. I must take title. Again, I said transactional funding. Transactional funding. Okay. Hey, property in Union City, New Jersey. Told you I was gonna tell you about the 140K deal. You guys ready for this? I hope you're ready for it. This is pretty cool. Somebody at our funding company, before I actually became a partner in the fund, which is kind of interesting, right? This is like last year. Maybe this is part of it. I guess I'm blessed and honored to be part of the fund, but they're like, okay, maybe we got something here. We can work together. So he's like, he tells my friend Phil, who's not my partner at that time, just a friend, he's an associate. He's done business with us and stuff. He goes, hey, I got this property. Like, I'm out here in Arizona is where he's at. Bill's in California. Somebody gave me this opportunity to buy this real estate in New Jersey, and it's totally dilapidated. It's like a building that's falling apart. It's in shambles. But I think there's something there because it's in a great location in this really metro area that's up and coming across from New York City called Union City. And it's by Jersey City. And these are really good cities and areas, right? And it's also a development type of project where someone has to go in and do a lot of stuff to make it better, but it's not just like quick flip, like fix and flip or fix and keep. It's like a pretty extensive project. I'll give you guys a hint. This is not going to make sense for everybody, but those of you that want to work on this and the Growth Collective, just let's talk about this. The bigger the renovation, typically, the bigger the opportunity. The bigger the renovation, the bigger the opportunity. The bigger the reno means the bigger the amount of value I can create, because most people, most lay people that don't do real estate are going to say, it's a disaster. Well, who'd ever buy that thing? I love when they say, who would ever buy that property? I'm raising my hand. I'm interested. Please. Some of the best properties, single family homes that we've ever done as fix and flips, fire damaged homes, additions, complete remodels, gut jobs, as they say, fully gutted. Okay. Keep that in mind. So Union City, New Jersey, this guy gets the deal sent to him. Okay. Hey, listen, what do we do with this? Well, Phil's like, hey, I got this friend of mine, Doug, who's got a pretty big network in New Jersey of investors. Maybe we can get a contract with him, the joint venture. He's like, you go get the contract with the person who's selling it to you, buy it for this price. They negotiated what they did. And then we could talk to Doug about bringing him into the deal to help us bring visibility to this, because he's got a network of people in New Jersey that want to buy stuff like this. Some of you listening to me right now probably saw the text or the email if you've been on my list for at least a year. Somebody even in the room might have bought this property. I have no idea. I haven't tracked to see what happened after. Okay. I honestly, this sounds ignorant. I don't mean to be this in a negative or nasty way. I don't even remember the address. I don't know I just know it was in Union City, New Jersey. I never went inside the place. Phil never did. And the other guy didn't either, as far as I know. But what we had was information that was enough information for someone to say, hey, I'm interested. So check it out. We did exactly the same things. We got the deal flow from somebody else. Capital flow was my responsibility. No pressure, Doug. Okay. I created visibility to this opportunity, but I had to get into a contract to be able to do that legally. And I did. I said, listen, I need an option to buy this for this price. And if I trigger my option, I'm keeping what's above that. So we did that. Then we went out there and said, okay, we have a contract. We're going to go sell this contract for a certain amount. The total price was marketed at like 700,000, I think. That was ambitious. We ended up at 650 after a few people made offers and stuff. And what do you know? We signed a contract, but then we found out that that investor couldn't close by the time we had to close. So what does that mean? We had to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, well, can we get this funded? So we take title. And then what do we do then? We have to, if you have to close on a property as a wholesale flip, you have to take title. Okay, no big deal. It's all good. Let's take a breath. We're good. Okay, it's going to be fine. We haven't done it before. It's okay too. If you bought property, it should be no big deal, but maybe you don't want to own this property. You know, I have a couple of properties now that I don't want to own forever. I'm selling them. One's a fix and flip. The other one's just a flip. So if you're looking for something in Northern New Jersey or Southwest Florida, we should have a conversation. Hit me up. They're both great opportunities. I mean, no BS. They're great opportunities for somebody. It's not for me. Right. And I'm willing to flip those to somebody else for the right price. So let's talk. Maybe you're sitting here and be like, all right, you know, when's this guy going to be done talking about this nonsense? Like, I just need to go buy real estate. I've got a couple of those emails. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone wants to know the hows and the whys and the whats. You just want to do it. Okay. If you just want to do the deal, hey, we have a place for you for that. Just hit us up, hit me up on DM or send an email to wholesale or even better yet, sales at jdlventures.com. There's people waiting to talk with you about the deal you're looking to buy or something you're looking to participate on. We have also a list of passive income opportunities with our fund and otherwise. So if you have capital, and I'm not soliciting for your funds, I'm just telling you, if you have this idea, this notion, frankly, I can solicit for funds, to be clear, because we're a 506C at KPRE Capital. And it's only accredited investors, though, for that part of it, just so you guys know, to be clear. So maybe just wonder, like, oh, here he goes again. What are we doing here? No, got that covered there. But there's other stuff that's private deal that with the right person, I'd be willing to look at together. So if you're looking to invest capital, which hopefully everybody has some idea of what you're trying to do, like clarity. If you need that, again, join the growthclub.com. I can help you get clarity too. But if you have capital, you're looking to invest capital, we have a couple options. We have more than a couple. We have like probably a dozen at any time. It could be more or less than that between New Jersey, Florida. We even have one in California, a direct investment. Okay. So where am I going with this? If you want to take a look at that, either DM me or comment the word passive, just so I know that you're somebody I should talk with about passive stuff. Right. And the prerequisite is that, you know, we have a conversation. I get to know a little bit about who you are, what you're doing. We see if it's a good fit for us to collaborate. And if it is, we'll talk specifically about deals that are, you know, one-to-one. It's unless you're going to invest into our fund as an accredited investor, which is fine. We can talk about that too. But if you're not accredited, we would have to sort out our relationship and make sure we get to know a little bit about each other and kind of have a couple meetings and get to know, how do you want to operate? How can we collaborate? Okay. Steve, I see your question. I'm not ignoring it. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. I'm going to wrap this up and then we'll go through the questions you guys might have. Again, if you have questions, it's a great point. Actually, make sure you put your questions in the chat or in the comments if you have a question, and I'll go through all those before we're done. Okay. So transactional funding. So here's this gentleman that wants to buy this property, but he can't close fast enough because he's using a lender, a private money lender that can't close soon enough for us to close. So we have to get transactional funding. But now we say, well, how much can we make on this deal? If everything goes as planned, we're making over 100 grand. Okay, well, it's an obvious, let's do this. So we had a transactional funder provide 100% of the capital for as long as we needed to, obviously for a fee, but not very much, right? I think it was like 1% for a week or something like that, or every week, to do this, to fund 100%. so we could sell it to this guy when we close for 140K more than we're in the deal for. So the question is, would you be willing to trade 5K a week? I know this sounds nuts. If you could spend, and it has a word that kind of triggers people, like spend $1,000 every workday. Imagine that you're just pouring out $1,000, $1,000 today, $1,000 tomorrow, and then Monday it's another 1,000, Tuesday's another 1,000, Wednesday another 1,000. But you know that within 2 to 3 weeks, there's $140,000 coming back. I'm just curious, like, I'm being serious. How many would be willing to spend $1,000 a day for a few weeks to make 140 grand coming back? Does anybody get that? Like, let me go through the psychology, right? Like, if I'm willing to, is it really spending? If I know what you might say, well, how am I sure? How am I sure that this guy or gal is going to perform? How do I know? Yes, Wendy, and yes, Andrea, and I'm hoping probably others are saying yes, they're just not willing to admit it. That's okay. It's a lot of money for most people, even in the business. But check this out. I want you to write this one down. As a real estate investor, most things that others consider, this is a long-winded one, you write this however you want to understand it. Most things that other people consider expenses, you need to make them investments. Flip the psychology from being an expense to an investment. Why? How? What do you mean? Is that just like playing with the words? No. If I don't spend the $1,000 a day, I can't earn 140,000 in a few weeks. If I invest $1,000 a day, I will earn $140,000 in a few weeks. Check this out. If I invest $0, but my time in the next 5 days to do this exact thing, I might be able to walk away in a week with 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand more than I had a week before. I'm using a big deal just to paint the picture of the possibility, but we all need to know it's not common, right? It's common between 5 to 20-ish K, pretty standard on most deals. Now, if you're doing commercial deals, there's a guy I know, Ty, actually, shout out to Ty. Ty and we are collaborating on some things. Ty is making multiple 6 figures on one deal. I think his biggest deal I heard about was a $360,000 wholesale flip. So this is like, Ty's like, yeah, whatever, 140. Come on, man. You can't keep up with that 360. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I got some work to do then. So listen, so how do we protect ourselves? Exactly, Rich. The old cliche, make more, you have to spend more creatively. Yeah. Spend. I would even challenge you guys to invest. And I say this about time too, because time is not much different than money, except it's actually more finite than money. Time is the most finite resource that we all have, in my opinion. I think you guys, if you look at it, you'll agree. So invest your time. Don't spend your time. Hey, I spent some time doing this. That just tells your brain, man, you lost something there. Yeah, invested some time. He and I had a great chat. She and I had a great chat. We invested some time together. We took the time to invest together. We took the time to be present with each other. That's a life kind of principle. Okay. No sweat. If you guys got to go, I know we're overtime. It's all good. And I'm going to try to see my schedule here. I got a 2:30 coming up. I think I got to get on as well. So we're going to wrap this up in about 5 to 10 minutes. All right. What if my buyer can't close? How do I make sure they do close? Now, this is something you got to check again, locally, laws, process, system, all that stuff. And I can help you with that, figuring it out together, but it's a little bit more detailed than what I can go into in the next few minutes here. But here's the thing. Very simply, this piece of paper, the contract, is going to likely stipulate that when they go into contract, that this is a number one binding contract. It's not like an LOI. This is like a legit contract that says purchaser of property who then becomes seller of property, basically, right? That's, in other words, purchaser of property is willing to sell property upon closing. Effectively, I'm saying this in a very simplified way, to prospective buyer. And if the property isn't purchased by purchaser, then property buyer behind me can't buy it. So that's the stipulation. This is prefaced on the fact that I'm going to sell you something that once I own it. And this thing is saying that also they're going to give a deposit towards this transaction that's sizable. That's more than what my risk is to get the deal. So if I have, let's say, a $5,000 deposit that I agreed to, or $1,000 or 10,000, whatever that number is that I'm agreeing to, which by the way, we have people, I might be one of them, I'm not going to overcommit here, that would be interested in funding a deposit, right? I have enough of a network of people. There's a whole group of people now that are in a certain community doing that as a business. Deposit monies are available if you need it. It's just going to cost, again, it's an investment, but it's going to cost something. Okay. That's there. Over here, though, again, that buyer is going to sign a contract and give a deposit that's usually 2, 3, or 4 times the size of whatever my risk is. So if it's $5,000, I want a minimum of 10, 15, 20K. And check it out. I need the deposit to be immediately non-refundable. And that's not like I'm just saying it, not putting it right. It's literally in the contract, and I'm making it very clear that by signing this contract, you're agreeing that the deposit you're going to send is immediately non-refundable. So that if you don't perform after I own the property, that deposit's going to be forfeited, because check it out, I'm going to have holding costs. I'm going to have closing costs. I'm going to have the problem that to sell this property, which isn't a problem actually, if you think about it, put on the MLS. I might even sell it for more. But I really don't want to do. I'm going for convenience to make that 140 instead of making 250 or 300. Who knows? All right. So I get that signed, and check it out. I'm going to simplify this now. We get to the last point. It's like, cool. So we get some paperwork in place, and then check it out. We close. That's step 5. I think it's step 5 we talked about. So the closing is no different, except if I'm doing a double close, the title insurance company is going to know that there's 2 transactions related to the same property. My company is the buyer to begin with, and then we close on the property. We take title. We actually have a deed for an hour, 2 hours a day, a week, or 3 weeks. And then we sell, not the contract in this case. If I take title, I sell the property. The property is sold to this buyer. It's flipped, except I didn't flip it. I didn't fix it, I should say. I didn't live in it. I didn't enter the property. I never even went by the property. I never drove by it. So what does that mean? Put this all together. So Doug, you're saying that I can, listening to me, buy and sell properties without ever walking into them, without ever seeing the area it is in, without ever understanding the renovation budget, without ever having to lift a hammer or, screw a screw in the wall or do any sort of renovations. And I can make probably double or triple what some people are making on fixing and flipping properties. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Oh, wait. And you could do this from anywhere to almost anywhere. In other words, I could be sitting in Florida doing this in Texas, Colorado, New Jersey, Florida, California, wherever, Missouri, Montana, etc. Yes. So if that doesn't excite you, like I said, it might, with all due respect, it might be a good time for us to say, thank you for being here. Have a nice day. We'll see you around sometime. I hope you're kind of excited. I'm excited talking about it, honestly. It gets me jazzed up like it does. We got some questions, but here's the thing. Before we go to the questions, now is the time. Literally today. Remember I said today is the day. Today is the day that if you're not part of the Growth Collective, or if you're even part of the Growth Collective community and you want to lean into this, take the time to let us know. If you're part of the TGC community and you want to kind of upgrade into the private group, hit us up on Slack. Hey, what does that look like? Let's talk. We're not going to pressure you. Not like you're part of the community. We're not looking to make it hard or difficult, make it feel annoying, whatever. If you're not part of the community, that's okay. Maybe the first step is to join the TGC community, to see it firsthand, to plug into the stuff on a regular basis, to get the coaching and guidance and all the different things you need, the content and the course and all that kind of thing, and get the resources of people that make the difference. These are just 2 examples. The one that was in Florida, the one that was in New Jersey that I gave today. There's hundreds of examples of this that I can explain. And it's not by my doing. Well, no, it's not just me. It's a team. It's a staff. It's a group of people. It's a collaboration. So if that interests you and you want to talk about that, just set up an appointment. Join thegrowthcollective.com. Join thegrowthcollective.com. All right. Esther, we appreciate you being here. She had to leave, I guess. No sweat, Esther. We'll see you in the next meeting here. And then where are the leads and prospects? Some are very important action steps. Sean, good point. You wouldn't believe this. Facebook groups is the number one, I would say. Go into Facebook groups in the market that you want to participate in and find out who has the deals in those groups. Reach out to those people one-to-one because you're not likely going to get a lot of people just like putting up a post and saying, hey, send me stuff you got. You could. I tried that actually just today because I have somebody looking to buy a turnkey deal and I want to help them do that in Florida. So if anybody has a turnkey multifamily, small multifamily or single family home in Florida, kind of flexible, big budget, like up to $1 million, they're looking to pay and looking to move quick and they're looking to use leverage. But anyways, Facebook groups, look, whether we like it or not, like right now we're leveraging the platform and we've reached, dozens of people live and probably hundreds or thousands on the replay. It's not like a choice anymore for us to leverage this platform. It's everywhere. But the question is how we're using it, right? If we're using it for nonsense stuff, like things that just make us feel good for a little bit, kind of wasting time, that's really a waste if you ask me. That's not a good idea. If I use this platform to grow my business, very good idea. Excellent idea. How can I do that? Well, I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to go to city and state Facebook group about real estate investment, real estate in general. I'm going to go to moms groups. I'm going to go to buy and sell groups. I'm going to go to yard sales. I'm going to go to swap and trade and all that stuff that they put on Facebook groups. And I'm going to find people that are doing deals in the ones that are real estate investment groups. They're going to be everywhere. The moms groups and stuff, I could post in those groups saying, I'm looking to buy distressed real estate in these areas. Does anybody have a house that you're looking to sell? Know anybody that's looking to sell a property? I'm looking to buy. Now, be mindful. Not everyone likes seeing those posts. So don't be annoying and post it 10 times a day, right? We don't want to do that. Then people get annoyed. You get kicked out of the group. That's why I like the real estate investor groups to basically kind of like snipe. Okay. There's this thing in auctioning, like if everybody ever did eBay, a snipe, right? It's like, I'm going to snipe the bid. I'm going to come in with like kind of stealth mode. Shout out to my stalkers on Facebook. So right? You're sniping, like kind of listening, but you're not showing your face or talking about it. So it's fine. But the fact is you could go in a Facebook group and literally inside the real estate investing mastermind group, you could go down the membership list and just hit people up and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm in this area, would love to connect. Do you have any deals? And it looks like you're in such and such area. Like I'm looking to invest in. Do you have any deals you're working on? And just make connections and do that religiously again, every single day. That's the best advice. And obviously in-person events is the next best. And also you can just call people. You can call real estate agents. You can look up online the top agents, the ones that are doing deals, the ones that have listings, that are getting properties to sell. A lot of times they have overflow of stuff that they can't list because no one wants to take the time to list a distressed piece of real estate. They want to just flip it to somebody else or sell the deal or just even just let you have it and take it on the back end, get a commission when you sell the property. All kinds of stuff. Again, we'll get into that, Sean. You're part of the group here in the community. So we'll definitely talk about that. There's some content about that strategy as well. And anybody else who wants to learn more, again, jointhegrowthclub.com has the ability for you to do that. Steve asked a question. Steve's been patiently waiting. Appreciate you being here, Steve. Do you use the same 1-to-4 contract that we're using in a regular real estate deal? So it depends. If I'm making an offer through a real estate agent that has the ability to use that contract, then yes, I'm not using that contract if I'm going direct to seller or working with a wholesaler. The contract usually stipulates that by the law of the commission, the real estate commission, only a licensed agent can actually use that contract. And I'm not a licensed agent, so I don't need to get in trouble with that and have the commission yell at me for using their contract that they took the time, the NJR, AR, or the Florida Association of Realtors, whatever it is. I don't need to worry about that. So if I'm working with an agent though, like, yes, they can. And I like that because, the standard form in New Jersey and Florida, where I've done most of my business, right, is going to have things in it that actually help me. Sometimes it's things I need to consider, like removing, for example, if there's a no assignment clause, this contract's not assignable. I just simply ask the agent to cross that out. And my reason why is because, look, I work with a number of parties that want to work on this deal with me, buy this property with me. And I'm not sure how we're going to structure the final transaction. So I may have to assign this to another entity that we then partner up on. That's really what it is. It's not like me making up a story. Like that's literally what's happening. I'm telling the investor, hey, listen, you want to buy this deal? Fine. You're going to take title on the LLC. Great. I'm going to have to either assign this to you, or if I can't assign it, then I just take title and I do the transactional funding model. I close and the realtor gets their commission if it's a real estate that's listed and it's commissionable, that kind of thing. If it's not, then there's other fees we can work out, whatever it is. We close, and then same thing, I double close and I sell it. That contract is not going to be a realtor contract with my end buyer. That's going to be what we call a B2C contract, which is basically a longer form, the one we use, like 10 pages long, that kind of stipulates that it's like everything's on them. There's no risk to us. Like it's at your own, you're making the decision. There's no guarantees, no warranties, all that kind of stuff. It's totally as is. So hope that helps out, Steve. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay. I'm going through the notes here. Thank you, Candace, for kind of outlining. If you guys didn't see Candace's comments about the details of the steps, that would be good to copy and paste maybe. And then we got some interaction. So thank you everybody for being there inside of Zoom, and check on Facebook. Ali, see you there. Ahisha, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. And then Bonnie, so much value. It was from Ali. Thank you so much for being here. And I know there's some other folks commenting as well. So Hilda was here, I think. Listen, if you're checking this on the replay, do me a favor and put a comment replay. If you got this far in the replay, I give you a lot of credit, honestly. It's like over an hour, hour and a half to sit here and listen or skim through even is amazing. Thank you for that time. Thank you for taking the time, for investing the time with us. I hope and pray that you take this serious. And the next steps you need to take are the following. Number one, get clear about your goals. Get clear about what you're looking to accomplish. Number two, get out there and connect to people that have deals, deal providers. And then number three, get connected to people that have capital. Connections will literally fuel your business. Okay. Without connections, it's very difficult to do this by yourself on an island. Okay. Make those connections, leverage this group and leverage other groups to make those connections. Now, obviously after that, it's going to be on you to do the analysis and understand the numbers, understand the process. That's where, again, you could do that. Or if you need additional help, again, join thegrowthcollective.com. The next step for you, if you need that extra help, is going to be go to jointhegrowthcollective.com, watch the 4.5, 5-minute long video, check out all the testimonials, and then click on this thing to schedule a time. If you don't want to wait till the time comes up, hit me up on a DM, be like, hey man, I got to talk to you like ASAP because I want to get going with this. How does this work? Let's do this. That's fine too. We'll find a way to get on the call today, tomorrow, whatever it is, the weekend, even if I have to. I don't want to hold you back from being your highest and fullest potential. My goal is quite the opposite. My goal is to help you maximize your potential, make it real. So again, remember, we have a commitment of a 90 days or less guarantee. It's the only stipulation is that if you don't do anything, if you just like kind of sign up and you just kind of sit back, it's not going to apply. You have to participate. Now, the other thing is, if you don't close a deal with us in 90 days, if you don't close a deal on your own, like we don't have to be providing you the deal. If you don't close a deal at all, we will continue to serve you until you do, meaning you'll have access to the private coaching group as long as it's necessary for another month, 2 months, 5 months, a year, whatever it takes. We want to see you be successful. Our commitment is to you. So make the investment into yourself of the time it takes and the money that's going to be required for you to do that. It's significant, but it's not so significant where it's like, oh my goodness, it's not like $100,000 or $200,000. It's not like that. Okay. It's attainable and we have options. So with that being said, I thank you guys for being here. God bless you all. I'm so honored and privileged to serve you here every week. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And hopefully we'll talk before that if you want to get to work and get this thing going. I'll talk to you guys then. Have a great night.